Hey folks, welcome to today's Facebook Live. It's been a little while, 3 days, I guess, 4 days since we've done this. Let me set up my little rigged stand here. I need to buy an actual stand. I hope you all had a great July 4th if you're in the US. And I guess I wish that you had a great July 4th wherever you were, since that date happens to everybody. I have been going through full-on burnout, and when I do that, I read a little bit of the Dharma. The Dharma, D-H-A-R-M-A, is Buddhist stuff, and I was fortunate enough to grow up with it. Buddhists don't really care to convert anyone, so none of this is from the point of view of converting anyone. You can't really convert someone to Buddhism anyway, because it's pretty, while it's wonderful and rich and helpful and all that, it's also incredibly boring. If you're trying to meditate because you've been converted, it just doesn't work out. So, you can bribe your child or something. People often ask, hey, how do you get your kids to meditate? And you kind of can't. You got to just imbue them, be an example of being a mindful, decent human being. And of course, that applies to every parent equally. So on that note, I'm going to read a little Buddhist quote from an ancient issue of Relephant magazine. Most of you don't know, but Relephant used to be a magazine. And this is when it was regional in the Rockies. And then it went national later on when we got our act together. And we were in Whole Foods and all that stuff. And it got quite nice. Alrighty. So this is me interviewing a beautiful human being, Khandro Rinpoche, who for many years was a sort of family teacher in the Shambhala Buddhist community that I got to grow up in. Alrighty, so she's talking about parenting, how to be a good parent with your children, but it applies, of course, to anybody. Alrighty, where is it? We will find it. Maybe I should have marked it. All right. You were just in Boulder and this is me asking a question. You were just in Boulder and had an audience with a group of children, and someone there told me that you said the way to be a good parent is to practice meditation. Rinpoche, to the children, I always say, do your parents practice meditation? Because parents bring their children to see a teacher so that they can get some connection to the Dharma, to Buddha Dharma. But there's good intention, and if it is not nourished in an environment where the parents are the examples of what it means to be a Buddhist, then children will always hesitate. Same goes for church, same goes for bringing your children to a Shakespeare play or whatever it is that you think will benefit your children. If you're not kind of walking the talk as a parent, of course, it really is going to almost seem hypocritical. Sorry about the background noise, but Boulder is in the midst of a real estate and building boom, so you kind of can't get away from it. All my tech friends are moving here, and we're becoming kind of like San Francisco, a fantastic, liberal, progressive, compassionate city that is drowned in money and beginning to be less compassionate and progressive and less green. So anyway, that brings us to another subject, which is enlightened society, which is how can we all work together without generalizing, as I just did, and I'm guilty of that. There are many, I'm in the tech community, they're on the edges of it. There are many wonderful tech brothers and sisters, not enough sisters in the tech community, but it's a fantastic and exciting community. I've been quoted in the local paper raving about the tech community, but because they do have such entrepreneurial energy and are very inspiring. But ideally, whatever we're doing in our lives is pointed toward mission, toward being of benefit. And Silicon Valley, one of my favorite TV shows, y'all should watch it, kind of makes fun of how tech people will casually say, yeah, we're going to try and change the world through this whatever, but they don't necessarily mean it. And if you do mean it, you can try and be of benefit with a sense of humor. So now back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right. Because if children hear one thing and see something different, they'll be on to you, basically. So then we go on, I say, children are smart. And she says, oh yes, and laughs. And then, and we're getting to our point here, I asked, you were talking about karma, the habitual cyclical nature of our lives, in an article I read. You were saying that we are busy from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to bed. We're in a rush. How many of you does that sound like? Sounds like me, for sure. And before we know it, life is over. And what is our life really, truly, in essence about? How do we get out of that cycle? The sort of habit trail, the habitual pattern of busyness. And what is the sister or the brother of busyness? So we're super busy. We're too busy to bicycle or to walk or to, work out or to sit down and eat good food without Netflix on. But the sister, the flip side of that, is totally crashing, burnout, and kind of binging on Netflix, watching all of House of Cards in a day or whatever. So in an interesting way, we waste a lot of time when we're too busy. All right. Her answer. It comes down to developing basic awareness. As a human being, every one of us has the ability to live life with basic sanity, not doing unnecessary things. Any of us, Buddhist, non-Buddhist, spiritual, not spiritual, atheist even, everyone will agree that we should have a harmonious existence. We should be good to one another, be happy inside, and be able to give happiness to others. We all agree upon this simple level, but never put it into practice. It's important to ask why we say one thing and do the opposite. Why do we wish for one thing and create the opposite? The question must be asked about basic awareness and sanity, which is what we specialize in, Buddhist folks. That's sort of all they do when they're meditating. It's focusing on kind of awakening unborn or innate or natural awareness, not fabricated awareness. Because that's our core quality. Why don't we use it? Why do we more and more resemble crazy people? Life can be led with mindfulness, with goodness toward oneself, and if possible, others. Why don't we do it? Instead, we just complain about not doing it and keep blaming each other for not doing it. But we could start from ourselves. And then I respond. Yeah, at the talk you gave this morning, you said that the best way to be happy is to help others, and the best way to suffer is to think about yourself. It sounds so simple. So the notion is that you think first of others, and others includes yourself and the planet, and then and that will take care of you and nurture you. So if you have any comments or questions along the way, as some of you do, feel free to jump in, and then I'll get into the comments and questions. Rinpoche, Buddhism is not a difficult philosophy. The more you resist basic sanity, the more complicated Buddhism becomes. If you wake up to basic awareness, Buddhism is easy. So Buddhism is not really a whole religion with dogma, hopefully, even though it can get into it, but that's not good. It's just basically about being yourself, and being yourself is both really easy, it involves relaxation, and it's also really hard work because our ego's tendency is to want to be better, is to want to be other than ourselves, is to get away from loneliness. Even when I write little things about loneliness, people say, oh, no, you're talking about aloneness. Loneliness is bad and aloneness is good. And it's actually loneliness, what we think is bad and painful and difficult and hard, and we feel so introverted. We're hiking and we go a different direction if we see one hiker 100 feet away. Loneliness, the tough stuff, is what we need to make friends with. And that's why I always reference that blog Maitri, M-A-I-T-R-I. So if someone could leave that in the comments, that would be great. It's on Elephant Journal and hopefully everywhere else. All right. It's something we all try to do, working on awakening our basic awareness, but never really put into practice. Do something that gives us happiness. I guess the part I was going for was, and this is silly, and then I'll stop reading, because I think people prefer to talk about relationships and sex and have me talk with you instead of me reading profound Dharma from a wonderful teacher. So boring. All right. And that's kind of what we're talking about, busyness versus boredom. So basically, a lot of this busyness rises out of our fear of loneliness and our fear of boredom. You know that you could be on a date or something and everything's going so well, and then there's a gap. And suddenly you feel like you have to desperately think of something. It's almost as if you're acting in a play that is your life and you've forgotten your line and you have to figure out some line. And really, what is a date about? A date is about getting to know each other and relax. And you know that when you're in love, everyone always says one of the defining qualities of being in love is that you don't feel the need to talk around each other, that you can be completely comfortable even if you're quiet. And in fact, you can be completely comfortable because you're quiet. I remember my first love just staring into her eyes, and God knows what's happening biologically, but there's some sort of full relaxation with each other. Alrighty. This is funny, and then I'll wrap up. This is me asking a question in the middle of the interview. If you want to read this interview, you can't because it's on paper, and I can't send this paper into the phone. Alright, but we will upload it at some point. Anyway, you all should read something by Khandro Rinpoche. She's a wonderful, especially if you're a feminist, whether you're a man or a woman, Khandro Rinpoche is a wonderful example of a female Buddhist teacher who's fierce and funny and sweet and wise. All right, so I say you've also talked about how we're always saying, we're so busy, we have no time. This does seem to be our first excuse as Westerners. Rinpoche, well, it's easy to say, I'm busy. I think half of the busy people are not actually busy. It's a popular thing to say. It makes you feel accepted in this society, so people say that. We have a joke among Tibetans who travel to the West. We say, even if you are not doing anything, just say you are busy and that makes you respected. Some people certainly are busy. We have a lot of responsibilities, but we always will make time for whatever we really want to do, whatever we value in life. So if we don't understand and value the essential qualities, being kind, peaceful, quiet, like Trump, then we won't have time to do it. And then I ask a question, but say you have a parent and you have a job, and it goes on. So we'll try and upload this on this ancient interview from an ancient Elephant magazine. So basically what I want to talk today about is all captured far better than I can say in a blog on Elephant by Reggie, wonderful Buddhist teacher. Some of you may know him, and he's very accessible. He's a Westerner. And the blog is called Busyness is Laziness. And it's probably my favorite article I've ever edited and put up on Elephant. Busyness is Laziness. And we did that one in partnership with Sounds True way back. So if someone can leave that in comments, that would be fantastic. Gasho. All right. So basically there's this... we all are speedy. We're all looking at our phone all the time. Last night it was July 4th and I was watching the fireworks and I saw this. I assume she was a college girl. I don't really know, but a young lady who was drunk off her butt, and she actually fell on her butt and then did some other stuff. And remarkably, in the midst of being completely drunk and going to the bathroom in public and things like that, she had her phone in front of her face the entire time. And so we have this sort of addiction to our phones. So here's a little mindfulness practice. Today, just try, don't use your phone unless you consciously say, I'm going to use my phone. You can say that silently to yourself. The notion is that Americans look at their phone 155 times a day. There's different stats, but 155 times a day. You don't need to use it that often unless you're, Jay-Z or Hillary Clinton or Donald Trump or something, twittering away. So really do it deliberately. Say, I'm going to look at the time. I'm going to respond to my friend. I'm going to Tinder or Grindr or whatever. So do it deliberately. There's nothing wrong with the phone, but don't use it when you're walking. Don't use it when you're biking. Don't use it when you're driving. Don't use it when you're enjoying a cup of coffee. Don't use it when you're multitasking. Try and just do it fully. So what I do is I'll be walking along, say in a city or whatever, and if I need to use my phone, I'll kind of pull off to the side of the sidewalk and just stand there and use it instead of walking and kind of half using it and ruining my walk. I love to do that when I'm in a city like Boston or New York or some city I love, San Francisco, because I want to look around. So it's natural. I want to be present with everything because I'm a tourist, basically. So we can all have that kind of beginner's mind in our daily life. Look around, appreciate the trees, appreciate fellow human beings. How many of you have walked by a friend you haven't seen for a month or two, but they happen to be on their phone and they don't even look up and see you? Alrighty. I'm going to jump into comments. If you have any comments or observations or questions about busyness, about Buddhism, about mindfulness, about meditation, about multitasking, there's another blog on Relephant I recommend called Multitasking Makes You Dumber. And I think dumber is misspelled, but you'll find it. Comment. So we have an Relephant editor in the comments, hopefully, who will leave relevant comments. And then there was one other blog I wanted to leave in there, but I forgot it. Alrighty. As my mom says, you don't need to try and remember. You'll just remember naturally if it's important to you. Alrighty. Hatim. I'm confused too. We're all confused. Sorry if I'm being confusing. Martha. Me too. All right. Bill Shrum from Silicon Valley. Bill works with Relephant. Full disclosure. So he has to be charming and intelligent in the comments. The rest of you don't have that kind of pressure. You can be like me. All right. I don't know about you people, Belson tells his Hooli employees in a motivational speech meant to top Pied Piper, but I don't want to live in a world where someone else makes the world a better place, better than we do. Yeah, Silicon Valley is so funny. The thing they really made fun of that had a powerful effect is that notion that every startup is always trying to make the world a better place. In a way, I feel two ways about that. It is good that we should feel like we want to make the world a better place, but it has to be genuine, right? All right. Let's see. Andrea Fuller, I know that name. I'm already breaking the attempt to not use my phone as I'm watching this broadcast. Yeah, ironically. So these phones, these laptops, they're the only reason Relephant exists. They're amazing tools of empowerment. Today there's an amazing article in the New York Times, someone could leave in comments, about libraries embracing the 21st century and really being there for underprivileged folks who don't have computer access, who need help doing many of the things we take for granted, like applying for jobs or filling out their online healthcare stuff. So there's nothing wrong with these phones. What's wrong is up here. It's our need to get away from our own hearts, our own loneliness, our own boredom, and entertain ourselves to death, literally. Entertain ourselves until we pass away. All right. There must be more to life, right? When Robin Williams in Dead Poets Society was saying carpe diem, seize the day, my boys, he wasn't saying, endlessly scroll through people's news feeds, although that can be okay once in a while to catch up. What was he talking about? He was saying, get to the heart, the marrow of life. Honestly, this is from Andrea. I keep my phone in my purse until I'm sitting down and not interrupting the conversation or situation I'm in. Lady I was dating this year, her policy was like either no phones on the table if we were at lunch or something, and if we did have phones out for some reason, that they'd be face down. I think that's a very simple, wonderful kind of upaya or skillful means. Holly, do you have any recommended books on effective time management? I don't. I've never read a book about time management. Maybe I should. But if any fellow readers do, jump in and leave a recommendation for Holly. You can tag, at Holly Miller. And yeah, usually I have at least some obtuse recommendation, but I can't think of anything. I think the best thing for time management, as Reggie Ray says in that article I referenced, Busyness is Laziness, is meditate. Meditate first thing, put it at the top of your list, even for 2 minutes. If it's even second on your list, you'll never do it. Meditation is amazing time management because in a couple minutes you can get present, and then during the day you waste a lot less time not being present, surfing random BS, shopping when you don't even want anything, forgetting to do something and having to go back to get it. How many of us have gone to our car, forgotten our keys, gone back, gone to our car, forgotten something else, gone back? There's been times in my life where I've left and re-entered my house 6 times or something. You're just like, you go through the 5 stages of grief or whatever it is. And by the end, you're cracking up at yourself. You just can't take yourself seriously, which is okay. All right. Mick, I'm used to take my phone when I'm waiting or eating. Now I'm trying to put it away some moments, and it's really liberating. Not only put it away, but health-wise, and this is in the small print of cell phones, and it's probably not hippie gobbledygook. It's good to keep it in your bag or keep it off of your body. Keep it away from your important parts of yourself, your heart, your lower nether regions, if those are important to you. Lindsay Ray Acker, I love Elephant. Thank you. Your love keeps us going. So if anyone loves Elephant, I have to say it. We're going through epic Facebook changes right now. Many of you might have read how Facebook is basically turning down the dial on news so that you can hear Grandma Ann and Aunt Sally better. That's great. God bless Facebook. They've been a great partner, whatever. But Elephant is kind of going away and kind of just vanishing from Facebook. So if you're used to reading Facebook on Elephant, you want to keep mindfulness, Elephant, sense of humor, helpfulness about whatever we focus on, relationships, food, adventure, bicycling, politics from a hopefully nonpartisan point of view. Get our newsletter. It's free. It's on top of every page of elephantjournal.com. Commercial over is free, so it's not really a commercial. Click on newsletter and get it. Kirsten Lynn, how does one begin learning mindfulness for us beginners? Well, first of all, mindfulness, you're a human being. Mindfulness isn't, the property of anybody other than yourself. But in terms of practical tools, meditation, I do a lot of meditation instruction. You can go to youtube.com/elephantjournal and search meditation, and you'll find a ton. We have articles by people far better than me at teaching meditation on elephants, so you can go to elephantjournal.com and search meditation instruction. You can go to your local Shambhala center. I recommend Shambhala centers because they're not too weird, at least in the beginning. They get pretty darn weird later on, but they're great. And you can do a lot of free or pretty affordable Shambhala training, meditation, whatever. All right, Michelle Smith, Elephant Journal, love. Please get our newsletter. If you love Elephant, get our newsletter. Keep us strong. Tressa Louise, hey. Holly, you bet. Josette, you manage priorities. Time is time. Yeah. Okay. David, marry me. You wouldn't want him. It's horrible being me, let alone being near me for too long. All right, Michelle, or maybe you're talking to someone else. All right, but thank you. It's a good day when you get a proposal. Michelle Smith, yes, no phone at dinner. It can go to voice. Yeah, exactly. And I turn off my phone or put it on whatever it is, do not disturb or whatever, turn off my Wi-Fi, airplane mode, every night. There's no emergency that I can do anything about at 2 a.m. There really isn't. I'm not that important. If my house is burning down, I have some super loud alarms. I want to get into that deep sleep, right? You can't get in deep sleep if a part of you is saying, I need to be awake for whatever. If you're a parent, you probably have one of those like walkie-talkie things. If you can't do it, don't guilt yourself, whatever. Each to his own, just do your best. I turn off my phone at night. Anyway, your children probably aren't calling you on your phone. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm not a parent. All right, Douglas from Chicago. You mentioned something about ego and wanting to be somebody else. That completely resonates with me because it can be difficult just to be who you are. Douglas, exactly. So many, the word meditation is a tricky thing. So there's a lot of meditations out there that are not what Buddhists would regard as meditations. They're like anti-meditations. There's a lot of meditations out there where you close your eyes and you do some fancy mudra or something with your hands, and then you pray or you wish or you focus on being a better person. That is not meditation. That is not Buddhist meditation. That is what we would call spiritual materialism, treating your own spirit, your own heart, your own life as if you could upgrade. You can upgrade. You can live a better life. You can be happier, but you don't do it by trying to be to be a better person. How do we explain this? I often say it's sort of like trying to lose 5 pounds spiritually. You'll just, you'll go through these cycles of binge eating and eating nothing. And eventually, like Oprah, you might realize that no diet is the best. Eating good food is best. Exercising is best. It's the same thing with spirituality. You have to get to know yourself. So read that blog, Maitri. And so all the best meditations are just bringing you back to not even yourself, but just to this moment. And this moment includes past moments, future moments. It's not like my dog Redford is napping right behind this broadcast. It's not like a dog's present moment. God bless dogs, and they are amazingly in the present moment. But, he's not worrying about paying the bills. He's not. It's just not the same thing. We adults, or humans, we have to think about a lot of stuff, including where he's going to get dinner. Alrighty. Thanks, Michelle. Me too. All right, Ashley. I always leave my phone behind on purpose when I go hiking. Ashley is awesome. I go hike with her. Coralie Co. Too many use the phone too much, walking down the street, restaurants everywhere, and others can hear what is being said. I make my calls from my landline. My cell phone is for emergencies or taxis. Coralie, you're way ahead of the rest of us. It is really a modern kind of disease that we're on our phones all the time. I mean, I bike around, so luckily I can't really use my phone very well on the bike, although I try. I'm as neurotic and busy as anyone else, but I really don't try usually. I'm pretty good with myself, and not a day goes by where I don't see someone driving an SUV or whatever while texting or on their phone. And you're multitasking during the most dangerous thing you're going to do all day long. It's a little nuts. All right, Celine, I think work can be a sort of meditation. It all depends on how much and what part of you put in what you are doing. And so laziness becomes busyness and vice versa. Celine, I don't even get it, but it sounds really profound. I would say that, yes, anything can be a form of meditation. It's not meditation. So I think we addressed this in a prior video. You can watch all of these Facebook Lives. They all go onto youtube.com/Elephant Journal. That meditation is meditation. Running is running. Gardening is gardening. Gardening, running, other things we do can have meditative qualities in that they bring us back to the present moment and ground us. But it's important not to treat them like some sort of weird spiritual thing. Just fully garden. The most meditative or spiritual way to garden is to just fully garden and to appreciate kind of what that you're helping the earth, work in harmony with itself and with us. Julia Fairfax, great comment. Amen. All right. Kathy, being myself, healing the broken child inside of me, and loneliness is something I'm struggling with at the current moment. Any meditation YouTube video suggestions for me? Kathy, my number one suggestion is healing is good, but so there's this wonderful book called Shambhala by Trungpa Rinpoche. Shambhala, we can put a link to that book in the comments, that really talks about warriorship is being brokenhearted. Pema Chodron talks about that too, and I reference her almost every video. It's okay to be a little brokenhearted, or a lot, and to be raw, and to be open, and to be messy. Our society may not encourage that, and the few people who do seem to be examples of that do it in this sort of like, look at me, kind of, I'm being brokenhearted, and I'm so awesome kind of way. I don't want to be flip in criticizing people like that, because they are trying to be examples, and it is my job to hopefully be an example of not an enlightened human being, thank God, because I couldn't do it, but of someone who's on the path of mindfulness and trying to wake up. So Kathy, our channel, Elephant Journal on YouTube, has millions and millions and millions of views, and hopefully, as I said about Elvis, 40 million Elvis fans, can't be wrong. We don't have that many views. All right. But check it out, and hopefully there's some helpful stuff on there. I interview a lot of amazing people. Deepak Chopra, Michael Pollan, yada yada, and they're really great people. And then I also do a lot of meditation instructions. Alrighty, trying to skip a few comments from people who are talking a lot, which I love. Thank you, and get to people who haven't. Cindy is multitasking right now. She's saying she's currently on lynda.com on laptop watching me and updating calendar. So busyness, can't escape it and still pay the bills, but sincerely want to chill. Cindy, love that comment. So first of all, I would say you are doing all three things, but you're not really doing any of them fully. There's a wonderful quote that says, if you want to pay the bills, do something fully. I forget the quote, but it's like, if you want to do something well, do it fully. And then you can do something else fully. I mean, I have, not to get into a tab competition, but I have 40 tabs open, but I'm not relating to them, I'm aware of them, but I'm not thinking about them actively right now. All I'm thinking about is your question, and then maybe I have some random distraction in my mind, and that's what I work with every morning through meditation. And I would really encourage you to say, you're correct. You can't pay the bills unless you work hard. But working wise is also important. Working with love is important. People will enjoy working with you. And all these things come from being fully present in whatever you're doing. And this is beyond me, but we all have moments of it. Then you can chill while you're working. You can be relaxed. It's sort of like skiing. You're doing a ton of stuff. You're moving here, you're moving there, but that's my skiing imitation. But, the best skiers or surfers or cyclists or runners, you're completely relaxed when you're doing it. Like yoga. Yoga is a powerful practice in that way because you can practice through your breath, breathing through tension. Jennifer, benchmarks for good meditation. Fantastic question. There are formal benchmarks that you can read about in Buddhism for that you're on the right path with meditation. First of all, I would get a meditation instructor. They're free at Shambhala centers. You can go elsewhere. I just am not familiar with elsewhere as much. One of the benchmarks for me is of meditation is my body naturally uplifts and relaxes. So maybe let's, on that note, try a little meditation. We'll try meditation right at the end today, and I'll do a little instruction for all of you. First, I'm going to try some coffee. It's amazing I've done anything without having coffee. All right, organic fair trade coffee. Christian, presence is the gift you give yourself. It's also the gift you give to others. If you're trying to talk with someone and they're not present, you wish they would give you the gift of being present. All right. David St. Michael, I read this today. I was thinking about engaged Buddhism. Why is so much of it post-Christian humanist liberalism? A Buddhist politics based on dependent co-arising, community, etc. Many may look leftish. This is a great question. But it would not be liberalism as we see it. What do you think of this? Well, I'd need to read more context, but this has been oft commented on that most Buddhists tend to be liberal. So I think there's two different things going on. Number one, conservatives generally are more appreciative and more proud of their culture, and their culture is generally sort of more, white and mainstream Christian. Just demographically, Republicans tend to, be a little more Tommy Hilfiger than liberals, who tend to be more critical, who view patriotism as dissent, that kind of thing. So a lot more weirdo liberals will go off and try other stuff, basically, is what I'm getting at. So number one, you got a lot more liberals who are interested in Buddhism. And to that point, interestingly, the Dalai Lama encourages people of whatever religion to really embrace fully their own religion before, say, becoming Buddhist. And then Trungpa Rinpoche says something very similar. He says, get into your culture. He encourages his students to wear suits, to dress up, to, instead of rejecting society, to become an active part of it, to start businesses. It's very powerful to really find the enlightened and uplifted elements, as I think, overall conservatives are better at in their culture. So number one, you got more weirdo liberals who are interested in something like Buddhism. And then number two, I do think Buddhism is inherently more interested in environmentalism, which used to be very conservative. Conservatives, started the National Parks and Clean Air Act, and they love America the Beautiful as much as anyone historically. I mean, I always love when I drive up into the Rocky Mountains, which is never because I don't have a car, but when I do, on the walls of these very sort of conservative seeming restaurants and things that you go into, there's always these huge, beautiful vistas of nature. You don't see libertarian McMansions built all over the place. So everyone can appreciate nature, and nature is us, and nature is our health and all that. So Buddhism, I do think, is about harmony with nature. It is about empathy for sure, which is not something you see all the time in the at least modern conservative movement. There are obviously exceptions, but not enough. In fact, like Donald Trump, the current candidate, is almost proud of lack of empathy. Weakness is, there's a great article on this I just read this morning. Weakness is sort of the number one thing he hates, and power is the number one thing he talks about, which is a little bit contrary to the teachings of Jesus. Anyway, we're not here for my thoughts about Donald, unless you are. All right, Danielle, walking meditation. Yeah, walking meditation is fantastic. I've done thousands of hours of it, and it is definitely a wonderful practice. You practice fully walking as if it's your breath or your meditation. But that's probably not what you're talking about. You're probably talking about walking as meditation. Anyway. I'm reading Lauren's comment. My coffee's way too strong, but it's good. Beautiful comment. Best yet, from Lauren Marie Kane. Thank you. Everyone should give her a like. All right. Sorry, I just read that silently, but it took focus. All right. Any final questions, and then we'll meditate and wrap up. Yes, exactly what Tony Quintana is saying. That's great instruction right there. Look at you. That's meditation instruction right there. That's also my favorite comment of the day. Thank you. Tony, you need to write an article, elephantjournal.com/submit. Just copy paste that, expand upon it, maybe meditate, do a video. All right. Julia, does TM, transcendental meditation, mindful meditation have the same effect? No, they're different things. Not better or whatever, but they're definitely different. I do transcendental meditation for 10 years and my life has transformed immensely, but it seems to me, mindful is more practical to apply in your daily activities. Maybe I'm too attached to mantra meditation, maybe, haha. Thank you for spreading the knowledge, love, and stuff. First of all, get our newsletter. If you love Elephant at all, please get our newsletter, since Facebook is basically leaving us in the dust. All right, so we have some great articles, Julia, on TM and on mindfulness meditation on Elephant. So if you, for further learning, that's often from people who aren't me, you could read all those. What I would say is my experience with TM is limited to just about nothing. So I can't comment much, but what I do know is that many meditations are kind of goal-oriented, and that can be an issue. That can be a problem. There's a wonderful book that may be out of print called Journey Without a Goal, and I'll leave it at that. If you're really curious, read that book. Mindfulness meditation, shamatha, which we'll do, is with your eyes open, you're mixing meditation mind and life, monkey mind. It's very powerful. All right, we're going to try and wrap up. Tom Marino, do you think that meditation promotes duality as you are always focusing on an object? Fantastic question. Jesus. Excuse my taking the Lord's name in vain. Isn't it more beneficial to explore awareness or consciousness? For sure. Yeah, there are all kinds of different meditations. It's important that the object isn't taken too seriously. It's sort of like if you take any object too seriously, including the love of your life, you're going to ruin it. It gets too clingy and too, we ruin a lot of our best things in life by being attached to them, by taking them too seriously. You could look at Bernie fans right now. I'm a Bernie fan, and man, these Instagram accounts of Bernie fans are vicious, degraded, mean, and yes, I'm generalizing, but it's unbelievable. I'm a Bernie fan because of who Bernie is and what he represented or represents, and because of his respect and his love for integrity, not because of his viciousness and his degradedness. A lot of his fans are doing him no favors. All right. Same with vegans. If we want to take it off of poor Bernie, I'm sure there's plenty of mean Hillary and Trump, definitely some mean Trump fans out there. Veganism is about protecting life and love, compassion, and yet some vegans are incredibly angry And I get it, because they're facing, unlike most of us, the suffering that we're inflicting on sentient beings, which is really heartbreaking. And they feel an urgency. But even then, you can't be a jerk for even the best cause. You can be angry in a kind way, but you can't be angry in a kind of egotistical way and expect it to create anything other than further enemies. You know, if you want to get people uninterested in veganism or whatever your thing is, Tea Partyism, just yell at them, and then they won't be interested. All right. So, yeah, Tom, the object that I'll introduce in a second is not solid, and that's a key point. Celine, thank you. Alana, you can read about it. We can put it in comments. But basically, Facebook is more or less hiding news or journalism or media. So we have more than 5 million fans on dozens of pages, and yet we're going to be mostly invisible. So if you want to keep Elephant in your life, get our newsletter. The reason you can see this video is because it's Facebook Live, and Facebook is promoting that actively. Facebook chooses what you see. Remember, it's not just some sort of organic reach that's based on what your friends like. Not anymore. A lot of it's pay to play, and that's not bad, but it is dangerous when it comes to the importance of journalism to keep our politicians, to keep our corporations honest. Journalism does need to be protected, and right now Facebook is by far the biggest gateway or source for media, and you know, that's a credit to Facebook. They've been an amazing partner, without which Elephant couldn't have built online. Also Twitter early on, and when we transitioned from being a magazine, this whole thing. So we were a magazine, we went online, Facebook was great, now they're hiding us. Get our newsletter. Okay, hopefully we can wrap up after this. Danielle Cambra, I work with incarcerated teens, God bless you, and one thing that mindfulness meditation has given me is the ability to compassionately and completely listen to my students' needs without getting pulled into the destructive energy. Incredibly powerful. Danielle, I'd also recommend Tonglen meditation to you. We can leave that in comments. There's also Prison Dharma Network, which you may not know about, PDN, Prison Dharma Network. And if you search like Shambhala Prison, there's another network of people working in prisons. It's fantastic work. Where are you based? And maybe more people could help you out. You should also write an article about that and maybe explain to Elephant readers how we all can get more involved. I would love to go to prisons, but you know, I don't know anything about it. All right. Bill, you can also choose to have Elephant posted to the top of your feed. Mouse over the like button on the Elephant page and select post to top. Thank you, good sir. All right. But then you may be getting too much Elephant. But anyway, that's a fantastic recommendation. I think ideally Elephant would just be a part, or other sites would be a part mixed in with your family and your friends. Anyway, a lot of comments today. That was great. So let's wrap up with a little meditation practice. This will be 2 minutes. If you're in an office, you can just look like you're really having great posture for 2 minutes, which will be unusual. So take a great posture. Super vertical, super perfect posture like Superman. But then relax. So great posture, but then relax. Hands are open, flat on your thighs, above your knees, just kind of where they naturally fall, so that your elbows are just straight down. And if you've done this a million times, great, lucky you. And if you haven't done this, I'm going to go through it really quickly. Find your breath, in and out, just normal breath. And your eyes are open here. We're mixing our meditation mind with the monkey mind, with our life. We're not trying to hide anything or keep anything out. As I call it, gated community spirituality is trying to be happy in here and keep all the toxic, narcissistic people out, which are just labels that we could also apply to ourselves and, you know, the human experience. So deep breath in and out. Actually, a normal breath in and out. Eyes kind of 45 degrees down. Mouth can be slightly open. Maybe do a quick body scan. If you find any part of yourself that's relaxed, just wiggle it around, wiggle your sit bones, breath in and out. Let's just do that for a couple seconds. Breath in and out. Hear the sounds, feel the feelings. I have an itch on my foot. I can hear an airplane. I'm wondering about lunch. Sometimes we could go through an entire day without feeling our existence, our heart, our breath. So the breath is going to be, now we're going to place our attention deliberately on our breath, but lightly. So say 85% of your attention is on your out breath. And we can just let the in-breath happen, or you can ride the in-breath with your attention as well. So light focus on out breath, let the in-breath happen. The breath, connecting it with that one comment, is a great crutch or object, because crutch for the present moment, because it's not solid. It's hard to cling to the breath because it just isn't there. Okay, now the final part of the meditation is you're bringing your awareness, training your mind to be aware of itself and of its own capacity to be busy or entertained or distracted. So if you have a thought, why am I wearing a cowboy hat? I like cookies. I want to lose 5 pounds. I'm unhappy. I'm lonely. I'm the coolest person. Whatever your thoughts are, good or bad, happy or sad, label them thinking. Silently to yourself say, thinking, and then return your attention to your breath. As I often say, as it is often said, we can't enjoy anything if we aren't present. So whether it's a great meal or a cool car or a beautiful bicycle or a lover, all the best things in life, a beautiful hike, even those things we can't enjoy unless we are present with them. And that means being a little brokenhearted, being open, being completely available, but in a strong, grounded way. So this is practicing that. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay. Then dedicate the merit of your day, of everything you do, good and bad, happy and sad, even your mistakes, to the benefit of others. Let's all take a good posture, actually. We can all bow to each other. This isn't a weird spiritual thing. It's just sort of a handshake, a gesture of respect. I'm going to bow Shambhala style with my hands on my thighs. So take a good posture, breathe fully, look at each other, look into the screen, look at the thousands of people who have watched this or are watching it, and give it away. Okay, thank you. We do this Monday through Friday at 11 a.m. MST. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.